Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you're watching this podcast. This is Trish Robinson with Courage Over Comfort. I want to share with you why it's important to leave a legacy, why it's important to determine where you want to go in life without being comfortable. Because a lot of times when we're comfortable, we tend to do things that we're not supposed to be doing, or we do things that we should be doing because we're too comfortable. So I want to thank you for listening in today, tuning in. I would like for you to do is to hit that like button and share. I have a wonderful guest with me today. He is a new apprentice. This young man has been through my program. My program is called Evolve Youth Trades Academy, located here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where we teach the youth between the ages of 12 and 18, carpentry, plumbing, and electrical. See, I believe that trades is not the last option, but the first opportunity. It is up to us to introduce trades to young people so that they can have the power that resides in their hands, the skilled hands. So when we give our young people that power drill, they will know what to do with it and how they can live a sustainable career. And so my guest today decided that trades was his opportunity, not his last option, but an opportunity to advance himself, to learn something that someone could never take away from him. And I'm so proud to be a part of his development. I'm so proud to watch him grow. And I'm even going to be so much prouder to see where he takes his skill. So my guest today is Marcellus Robinson. Now, we are not related, but of course he has a wonderful last name. And so, Marcellus, tell me a little bit about who you are, your age and things of that nature, and why you chose the trades.
So, obviously, my name is Marcellus Robinson. I'm 20 years old, and I think the main reason I chose the trades was because during school, I did kind of recognize that maybe I'm not really the office type. I've always kind of worked with my hands. I've been around trades my entire life with family, from grandparents to great-grandparents. So for me, being able to see that it isn't an option, that it really is an opportunity, and a lot of my family members who are thriving are tradesmen. So taking that time to really think about that and then getting into the program was great for me.
Awesome. I believe it was your mom that reached out to me first, and she seen the information on Facebook or social media, whatever, I'm not sure, but this is why I do what I do, because it's important that we continue to be advocates to make people aware of what Evolve Youth Trades Academy is about. So one of the things I asked your mom was, this is a youth trades program, meaning we cut it off at 18. So you came to me with 19. And one of the questions that I asked you, Marcellus, was, are you going to be okay with working with students younger than you? And what was your response?
I think my response was probably something like, yeah, that's no problem, or that doesn't bother me, or something similar to that.
So, and it was. Your words, quote unquote, was, I just want to learn. Oh. And so he didn't have a problem with knowing that he was going to be the oldest person there. He just wanted to learn. And so that really stood out to me the most, because typically you can be intimidated by it, and that didn't intimidate you. What I loved about it, and what I thought that I didn't even realize until you got started in the program, was that you were a mentor. You were like my ambassador. When I watched you walk through the trades room and help support the younger students and encourage them, guide them, redirect them in some cases where, when maybe I didn't see certain things and you were watching, you were my second pair of eyes, in which that really spoke volumes to who you are as a person. So I am just so excited about what you're going to do, and the company that you're going to be going to do your apprenticeship is called what? Electech. We have a partnership. Evolve Youth Trades Academy have partnerships with many companies throughout central Pennsylvania, and one of them is EIC, which is, or IEC, I apologize, IEC, which is the Independent Electrical Contractors. And so I talked to them several times about Marcellus and let them know that I do have a student because, again, we're trying to, it's a win-win. So if I can get them great students like Marcellus and put them into their program, they can have great tradesmen, great journeymen, and possibly great teachers. So it's a win-win. And so when I reached out to them and they was looking for candidates, and I encouraged and was pushing Marcellus towards that. I know there was a point in time where you was wavering. So tell me a little bit about that wavering period in your life.
So when I got to that position where it was really kind of getting to that, if you're going to do something, you kind of need to get on this street and not drive in the middle of the street. So I had a few other opportunities, and it was some of them were trades, and then some of them weren't trades, like air traffic controller. Mm-hmm. That was something that was kind of out of trades, but I was also looking at HVAC because my father is an HVAC guy, and he does sales for that. So that was a pretty interesting time where I had to really think to myself, like, what do I really want to do? Okay. So.
Awesome. And I remember there was a time where during the summer you came to me. One of the problems that we are, one of the concerns, we'll say it's a problem. Let's say it's a concern. One of the concerns is when any student is getting into one of our trades, any trades, there is a part of the trades that requires you, is one of the biggest part, requires you to know math. And oftentimes our students get discouraged with learning math or feeling that they're inadequate, especially with the fractions part. One of the things that I commend you for, while you were just maybe slightly uncomfortable in some areas of math, it did not stop you. See, courage over comfort. Mm-hmm. See, you gotta stop. Sometimes we gotta be uncomfortable for a little while so that we can be comfortable. And sometimes we gotta be courageous. And even when we feel like, I don't know if I can do this, I'm not sure, but you took the opportunity. And I had one of my, what I call one of my tutors, come in and just kind of help you in certain areas and show you different things. So can you tell me, was that beneficial for you when you decided to continue on? Having someone help you, kind of guide you and give you information about the math skills or enhance your math skills?
It was really, really very important to have somebody there to kind of guide me, because luckily being an adult now, which is what's different from being a child when you're doing math, is that you kind of can rationalize why you're doing it. And so having the drive to do math for something that's a passion makes the math learning a little bit easier to do. So having them to kind of re-get me back on track, and then I took over a lot of it myself as well. I really worked independently to try and get my math skills to where I wanted them.
And I love that. And I noticed that you did that because you were still, every time we would conversate, you would say, well, I'm still working on my math, or I'm working on a section and I'm reading this and I'm reading that, which is key, because sometimes we really have to take control. We have to take control of our destiny. We are in the driver's seat, as you point to your point. We are in the driver's seat. Where are you going to be? Are you going to be in the driver's seat? You're going to be wavering side to side, or are you going to get on the straight and narrow and do what you need to do for you? And for that, I commend you, because you didn't just throw in the towel and say, well, you know what? I'm just not going to do it. If this is what is required, you knew what the roadmap was. And you looked at the roadmap and you still made the decision as to, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this happen. So when you were accepted into the program, when you were finally was accepted, there was a process. Can you just tell me a little bit about that, or tell our listeners a little bit about that process? Because I think it's important for young people to know.
So just to clarify, you're talking about the process of like putting in my Social Security stuff, or
no,
actually
just
getting into
getting into that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I had first had the decision to officially go forward with it, first they give you all of these tests and these background checks, and you kind of have to look at all that information. And then a lot of it really is on you to get the information to them. So I had to give my Social Security, and I had to complete a government, I think I had read that it was a government funded possibly program where they test you on 11th through 12th grade math, and they also test you on reading comprehension around that area. And that was a big part of the process, was getting all your information in there correctly. Yeah.
And not to put you on the spot, but there was a point where I asked you, and this is why it's important, young people, when you're starting to grow and become a young adult, there are some things that we have to know for ourselves and not rely on our parents. And so one of the things that I asked Marcellus was, I need your social security number. I said, I need your social security number. And he didn't have it. He didn't have his card with him. And that's okay, because everybody don't carry that. But I said to him, you need to memorize that. Because there's no reason why when someone asks you for your social security number, legitimately asks for your social security number, that you not be able to spout it out. And I don't want you to tell me it now, but do you know your social security number by heart?
I had to use it on the phone with my bank today. Okay. So I absolutely know how to use my social security number.
Absolutely.
I know what it is.
So this is important. Young people, and even some adults, if you don't know your social security number by heart, you should be knowing that. So there are things that we have to learn as young adults, that we should know. And so this is just a learning curve for you as well. So awesome. So now that you submitted your application, you're just waiting for them to get back to you. So it's a waiting period. But in the meantime, while this young man was waiting, he came back and asked, can he work alongside me? And so to me, that's powerful. You know, I don't think it was really the monetary, because you worked for me for free for a bit before I say, you know what, I'm going to pay you a couple dollars, okay? I'm going to give you a couple dollars for your time. But he was doing it for free because, again, it speaks to your character. So when I say your rewards will come to you, it depends on what you do before you get those rewards, because it all leads up to you will get rewarded by your works, how you behave. All those things are critical to your development. And so you came back and you volunteered your time, and then I put you on payroll. And when I say, again, just your connection with the young people, his connection with the young people, his enthusiasm, his wanting to learn, his willing to share and be a mentor. So, black men out there, this is what it's all about. See, we got to be about what we say we're going to be about. When we say we're going to mentor, when we reach out and say, I want to help our youth, this is what it's about. You have a young man that's now 20, and he's still reaching back. And I believe that you're going to continue to do that, because that's the type of person you are. But these are the examples that we need. We need more young men like you. So I'm so glad that I am so glad your mother reached out to me. And I'm even more glad that you chose Evolve. And not only that, you chose to continue that path towards being an electrician, because we need more electricians, and we need more diversified. So we need young black men like you. And building that character. You have the characteristics that speak success. And I believe that you are going to be successful. So I just want you to continue doing what you're doing, and not and stay focused, stay driven. So now that you have the job, you start next week. Yay. Where do you see yourself? What are some things that you would like to do once you get that certification as an apprentice? What would you like that to do? Because we all should be leaving a legacy. We all should be doing something. What do you see that providing for you?
Okay, so what I see that providing for me is, number one, being 24, possibly 25, and being in that position where I'm just as young as like everybody else. You know what I mean? It's not like you're 30 or 38 and you're kind of then making those decisions. I should have a decent amount of money. I'm already working, so I should have a lot of experience. It really gives me options to do a lot. I can do a lot.
Absolutely.
I can really do a lot, and it's a really good backbone to your life, I think.
And I like that. See, that's what I mean by the trades is not. It may seem like it's one job, but it's so many skills that you have. When you can use your skills and package it in a way that it not only is transferable, but it's impactful, because the sky's the limit for you. You can become a builder. You can become an entrepreneur. There's so many paths that you can take. But first, you have to get on board, and then you make that path and how it looks for you. So one of the things that I love about being an apprentice is that it's pretty much debt free. So you get to go learn something, earn, and then come out with minimal debt. Whereas you can use what you've saved and possibly build your own home. Yeah. And it gives you access to other tradesmen, that plumber, that carpenter, that welder. All of those people are subcontracts that you can have a relationship with. So you're in a prime position to build relationships. And that's really what trades is all about. It's about building relationships. It's about reaching out so that you can find someone that can help you grow and develop and use those skills for your next venture, for your next. So one of the things that I really want to make sure that I'm hearing from you, Marcellus, is that you just want to be able to position yourself. And you're not, the sky's the limit. You don't want to be pushed into one corner per se, right. But you want to be able to use your skills, like I said, transferable. So that could be anything. Now, we talked a little bit before the podcast began about business. So tell me, what would you like to do? Because I know you said you possibly like to get a business degree or certification. What would that do for you? What do you think?
I really think learning anything regarding anything you're passionate about just pushes the passion into another level of like, you can really do this. And so for me, getting more information on business and being in a position where I would still be a young business owner at 25, 27, having that degree or just having the certification or even just having the books right. alongside of it and maybe the mentorship around it. For me, it opens up more and more of the sky.
Absolutely. And you've been, and I wanted to share also with our listeners, I love that. You've been exposed to helping out organizations like Habitat for Humanity. We did a project in Stilton where they were building affordable housing, 2 units in Stilton. And Marcellus was instrumental in helping with that build. And so how was that experience for you? Because again, that was volunteer work and that was his time. So can you tell me a little bit about how that experience, and when we came back and saw pretty much the completed project, how did that make you feel?
Well, for me, I had thought about it because I had worked with my cousin actually on doing some work for somebody's house, and when we finished up their kitchen and they were inviting us for barbecues and they were so excited with their work, kind of that feeling of like, wow, you really did just pretty much sculpt art and people are going to live in this house forever.
Absolutely.
And so going to somewhere where you're working in an area where people really do need to have houses that they love and working on a house that's also built sustainably, like it's pretty cool that I can always say, no matter what, I can always say, yeah, I worked on that house right there.
Absolutely. And actually, your name is written in that house.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things that we were allowed to do was to carve our names inside the house before they finished the build. So when they say I was here, you truly was there and you helped build. And I think, and I kudos to you. And also I really kind of piggyback on what you said, because that experience while I was there in a leadership role or teacher role, I also, got my hands a little dirty as well. And to know that you are there to help someone else have affordable housing is wonderful. I mean, it's the greatest feeling, one of the greatest feelings ever, because now someone has a home that you helped build. Yeah. And like you said, sustainability and affordability, because it was one of those, and I can't remember the type of material. Styrofoam. Thank you. So he pays attention. So using styrofoam And building, it was different. It was new, and I think it was the first one that they ever did in this area. So it was really kind of historical from that standpoint. And then being able to go there and visualize. I've yet to meet the families that have moved in. I'm not sure if they have, but that would definitely be an opportunity for us to share with some of our listeners that experience, or at least talk to the families that have moved into those affordable housing. So welcome to our live here at Comfort Over Courage, or Courage Over Comfort. I'm sorry, got that backwards. Courage Over Comfort. This is Evolving with Trish, and the whole purpose is to help you evolve so that we can be better people. We can stop living inside of our comfort zone and do things outside of our comfort zone so that we can be the best versions of ourselves, or be better than we were yesterday. Let's say that. So I think it's important that we do that. So all my folks on live, please share, tag, like the podcast. And make sure that you join us next Monday for our next podcast. But so Marcellus, now that we are here and you're about to start, what would you say to some of your younger brothers and sisters about the trades, and why you think it's important that they consider it?
I mean, it's there. It's one of those things that's always there. Like, it doesn't really come and go. It's not a job market that's sitting there and then, a little bit later it might go this way. It's there. You're going to always need people to do that. And you're probably going to need to do it yourself at some point on your own house. And it's a good amount of money inside of that too, which,
absolutely.
Especially when you're younger. You want to get a new car, you want to buy something else. Like, for me, there's things I'm thinking about that I kind of dreamed about, because when you're kind of younger, you dream about things, but you don't really know how to get them.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah.
And so things I'm dreaming about, cars that I played in games, are starting to become affordable. It's starting to become something that I could buy and then not have to pay off for forever, and be like, I could have the car of my dreams soon. And having that as something that I can do.
Something to work towards.
Right. At 20, something that doesn't seem, oh yeah, one day. It's more like sooner than later.
See, it's a difference between a dream and vision. Well, we all dream, and sometimes that dream is placed on. It's dormant. It's sitting. Like you just imagine it. But having a vision, the Bible speaks that people that lack vision, they perish. So you got to have vision, because vision allows you to see the possibility. And it's not impossible. You really can see, I can do this. If I look beyond the naked eye, or what's stopping me, or what's blocking me, or what's prohibiting me. Sometimes it's our own minds that stops us. So once we look beyond that and say, I can see beyond this, that there's possibility. And once you are able to do that, then you can move forward. Yeah. But I think when you don't have any vision, you lack motivation. You lack inspiration. Right. And you won't move. You become stagnated and stuck in a place where what I call complacency. And that means that you don't want to be successful. You talk about it, you dream about it, but how many people really do it? How many people do what they say they're going to do? Right. Because it's easy to, verbally say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But until you take those steps, and that's what you did, whether they were small or giant leaps, you made a decision. And that's what I like about you. While you was a little wavery, and the more you and I talked, and I said, okay, Marcellus, you really gonna have to, what you gonna do? Okay, Miss Robinson, I'm ready. And you took that leap, and you didn't turn back until you got that opportunity. And so that's what I love about, and that's what we need to share with our young people. Listen, there's a huge deficit in the trades, the building trades. During the pandemic, there was nearly 8 million jobs vacant. Only maybe 4,000 of those managed to be filled. That was during the pandemic. It's 2023. When you walk around your community, drive around your community, and you see the vacant, rundown, abandoned buildings, and you ask yourself, where are all the builders? It is imperative that we introduce trades at an early age, before high school. We need to start elementary and middle school, because now we're developing them. Now we're giving them hope. We're giving them opportunity. We're expanding their knowledge and their grasp, letting them know that you too can do this. And when you see that, a young man like Marcellus, who's now thriving in the opportunity, excited about the opportunity, this is a prime example of what we need to do. So I know I asked you, what's next for you. I want you to be able to use your skills to also continue to give back. Allow that to be your goal, and while you mentor young people, because I think it's imperative. And you have a personality that young people gravitates towards, which is good. Continue to do that. For your next journey, whatever you're going to do. I think it's imperative that you use that. That's a gift. That's a gift. And so don't hide that gift. Share it with the world. Okay? So this is Trish Robinson. This is Evolve Youth Trades Academy. It is an episode, a podcast of Courage Over Comfort. I want you to evolve with Trish. So that means you need to take the next step to developing your mental state, your physical state, your spiritual state, your social. All of that encompasses who you are. We want to do this holistically. So join us again. I want to thank Marcellus for taking time out of his busy schedule and coming and sharing, dropping some nuggets of wisdom, but also letting us know that we about to do this. Evolve Youth Trades Academy is really going to bring more diversified young men and women into the trades so that we can fill those voids, that gap. We want to shrink that gap of tradesmen. We want to make sure that we're filling our community with buildings that's going to help our youth, but also encourage them, give them the tools, the tools they need in their tool bag to be successful. And recognizing that impact drill, that power drill has power, but it has no power when it doesn't have a hand to hold it, to build upon. So again, Marcellus, I want to thank you for joining us. To my listeners, Facebook fans, thank you for joining me. Please, again, hit that like button, share, repost. Join us again next Monday on Courage Over Comfort, Evolving with Trish. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.